Hello everyone and welcome to Blog Runner Everything and welcome back to the channel and welcome to a podcast episode because it's going to be a while still till we have our next match, which is going to be on Monday against Real Sociedad. And well, I just thought of, having a little bit of a chat once again because I don't know how Barca always manages to do this, but just when you think like you've definitely had the talk, like the talk that got everything just like off your chest. Well, you then have like a run of matches and some backstage drama, which leaves you going, just how much worse is this still going to get? And well, we're going to talk a little bit more here about all of that background drama because we've been hearing a lot about subjects like Vitor Roque, for example, and things just generally to do with Barcelona's transfer dealings in the upcoming months, what Barca's plans for the summer, and obviously being that it's Barca and being that the Catalan media is always so good at just throwing Barcelona in all sorts of rumors. That's exactly what we're going to kind of talk on a little bit, we're going to touch just a little bit, all right? But mostly we'll start by talking about the chaos that I talked about, and we'll end of course by doing a bit of a match preview, some forecasting for this game coming up against Sociedad. And man, if you're the optimistic type, well, this might not be the video for you. Now, I'm not trying to feed into negative vibes around the club or anything like that, but really I'm just honestly speaking from my current state of mind for, let's say, the remainder of the season that I've honestly given up on. And the reason I've given up on it is because, well, you've seen the players, right? You've seen the managers and his tactics as well, and the teams that he's been picking. It feels like everybody has given up as well. So, I don't feel out of place giving up on the rest of the season. But having said that, there's still some stuff we need to talk about. Okay, so we can start by really talking about the chaos that currently is surrounding Vitor Roque. Now, it's not too long ago, it hasn't even been 6 months since Barca fans were all, so hyped about Vitor Roque and were excited to see, Barcelona sign an exciting young striker, and a guy who was, with all due respect, scoring goals at a respectable rate in Brazil. And, we all thought, well, if he comes along, then this will be perfect. He's still young. Xavi can mold him and Xavi can shape him into the kind of player that he wants. Well, guess what? He's not the kind of player Xavi wants because apparently Xavi did not want him. That's kind of the vibes that we're getting here. Xavi did not ask for Vitor Roque, didn't want Vitor Roque. That was a signing that was done solely by Deco. Now, whether that was to please him from, Laporta or whatever, I don't know. But Deco is the guy who signed Vitor Roque, and I guess Xavi was just not at any point going to play ball with that decision because we've seen just how few, the minutes that Vitor Roque has gotten have been. He hasn't played a single minute since, I've forgotten, that throwaway match maybe against Cadiz. Did he even play there? No, I don't think he played against Cadiz. It's really been a minute since we've last seen the kid step on the pitch. Not even to do, those warm-ups like he's going to come on as a sub. Even in matches which, we could have afforded to throw him into. That didn't happen. Lewandowski once again looks like he'll be an uncontested starter for Barca next season, which, next season is just starting to seem more and more like a throwaway, if I'm being honest, because exactly what are we going to do with a striker in Lewandowski who wants to play every match but physically cannot and just isn't good enough to be playing every match, as well as a manager who wanted to leave and, in my opinion, should have followed through with leaving, because now who's going to respect him in that dressing room? Who's really going to take him seriously if he couldn't even follow through on his convictions? I mean, did he really mean all that stuff he said about going back to, catch up with his family and all of that? I'm starting to question all of that. Did he really mean any of it? And has he given up on finishing this season well just because he knows he'll be back next season? So, it's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. The Deco versus Xavi wars, particularly for me, is what is most concerning, because they should be working together to build a better Barcelona, and to give Barcelona a brighter future. Basically, they're each pulling in different directions. And the man who's supposed to be heading all of this, Laporta, well, it seems like he just wants to play favorites, or rather, he wants to be everyone's favorite. So he's giving in to whatever Xavi demands one moment, then giving in to whatever Deco demands the other moment. And because of that, it'll be interesting to see exactly what Barcelona's summer is going to be like. What kind of transfers is Barca going to make in the upcoming transfer window? Because without a doubt, we know that Barcelona needs a pivot. And without a doubt, we know that Barca also needs probably to reinforce at left wing, because right now they don't have any left wingers that Xavi trusts, or, who are actually any good. And I don't know. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens. Right now, a lot of the news is throwing around the name of Nico Williams, and typical rumors that we hear, oh, Nico Williams is interested in coming to Barca, blah, blah, blah. But we all know that's not going to be a straightforward thing, because it's a lot of other clubs like Arsenal and like Chelsea as well who are interested in Nico Williams. And, in the case of Arsenal, they can actually offer him what's going to be a more competitive project, a more competitive team than the one that Barcelona can offer him. The difference is just that Barcelona can offer him, better weather and, a more historical jersey to wear. Beyond all of that, I don't really see why he'd be picking Barca over, an Arsenal. Outside of those reasons I've given, the name cachet that Barcelona has, that bigger platform Barca will give you. But in terms of a more competitive team, a team where you're more likely to win titles, to win a league title, for example, right now that's looking more like Arsenal than like Barca, because guess what? Barca haven't even been the second best team in La Liga this season. Okay, that table does not lie. Right now, Girona is 2-1 up against Alaves and is about to move, 6 or 5 points clear of Barca, and they deserve it. They deserve to be in that position. Barcelona deserves to be where they are right now. That league table is an accurate representation of what this league has been like this season. And, it's just all going to add to this, chaos that I'm talking about, this chaos in the background at Barca. So you really wonder what that dressing room, what that club atmosphere is going to be like, like within the club next season. Because, like I said, one, you have a manager who wanted to walk away, but who was begged and convinced to stay. Two, you've got, elements in that dressing room like your Lewandowskis who want to still be the first name on the team sheet, even though they're not playing at their best level. And, you have players as well who are tucking their heels in, who are digging their heels in and do not want to leave, even though the club might want to say maybe trade them because of the wage bill issues or because of, just a lack of performance from those players. And add on top of all of that Barca are still thinking about signing Joao Cancelo and, I don't know, perhaps Joao Felix too. So it's really just a mess, which doesn't make sense for me. Personally, what I would do with Barcelona's squad, I would let go of both Joaos. I mean, Cancelo probably is the one you'd want to perhaps keep, but looking at how costly his, signing for Barca will be, not just costly in terms of how much money they'll have to pay for him, but also in terms of how much he can let them down in big matches, I don't think they should pursue him. I think they're better off, bringing in Julian Araujo for next season, give him a shot at that right back slot and give a shot as well to Victor Fort, who I think should have seen a lot more minutes than he has, especially now that Xavi is throwing the season away. All right. So I would do that, let go of Cancelo, trust in Araujo, trust in Fort, and of course, trust in Baude to stay fit and really Hector Fort can play as backup for both Araujo and Paude, because we've seen him already. He can play left back and right back to a decently high level. Okay, he can do pretty well in those positions. So why not trust those players who are much younger than Cancelo are, players who might not give you what Cancelo does going forward. You know, they probably never will be as good as Cancelo is attacking. Like, really, there's literally just maybe 2 or 3 other fullbacks who even come anywhere near to what Cancelo can do in the final third. But that's just a bullet you have to bite. That's just, you know, a sacrifice you have to make. That's just a hit you will have to take in order to build a winning project, because you don't necessarily have to replicate what Guardiola did, where he had an attacking fullback like, you know, Dani Alves, because doing that is now making you be at the mercy of fullbacks who are terrible in defense just because you want them to give you something in attack. And mind you, I can't remember the last time Cancelo gave Barca anything in attack. Probably Napoli. That's how long ago it's been, which is an indictment in itself, and is the reason why you probably shouldn't be thinking of signing him. And midfield is probably where it's going to be the biggest headache for Barca. We do know that Oriol Romeu is probably not going to be renewed. We do hear, however, that Sergio Roberto will be renewed. And, well, it depends what kind of role he has, I guess. If he's going to be the guy that's going to take up minutes, mostly in those, you know, Copa del Rey fixtures, you know, on those throwaway matches, if you have any in the group stage of the Champions League, if that's going to be his role, I've got no problem with that. But if you're expecting him to take up, like, you know, majority of the minutes in midfield as a backup option, then I think we have a problem there. And it's going to just continue to feed into all of this chaos that we're currently seeing around the team, that we're currently seeing around, you know, Xavi and around Barca and around the club as a whole. Because remember, at the end of the day, the club is still in a hole financially, okay? Barca is not yet back to that 1-to-1 ratio for the FFP, yeah? And until that happens, I don't think it's realistic to think that Barcelona will be able to sign guys like Nico Williams. Right now, probably, you know, we are hearing the rumors of Guido Rodriguez on a free, which is probably going to be a good bit of business. You know, he is a decent holding midfielder. He will definitely improve that position for Barcelona. He's much better than Oriol Romeu and Christensen, who's been deputizing there. But then you also get some of the sus news, maybe like Eric Garcia is going to be a part of the team next season. Xavi wants to keep him. And I don't really understand why. I get it, okay? I'm not saying that I haven't seen that he's been one of Girona's, you know, better performers this season. Definitely they wouldn't have done as much as they have if they didn't have Eric Garcia in that team. But then that's because I feel Girona is a team that works around the weaknesses that Eric Garcia has way better than Barcelona ever could. Because here's the problem that Eric Garcia has. He's a confidence player. He doesn't have the confidence, he's not going to give you any decent performances. And the only way for a player like him to get confidence is to play regular minutes on a regular basis, which, you know, he's been able to do at Girona, but he won't do at Barca. And the reason why is because he's going to come in at Barca and he'll be last in the pecking order of centre-backs. You know, he's not as good as Christensen or Koundé or Araujo or Pau Cubarsí. In fact, if we're talking about Mikael Faye being part of the first team next season, he's not as good as Mikael Faye either. So he'll be behind all of those guys in the pecking order. So what exactly is Xavi trying to do there? And if Xavi is actually thinking of having Garcia as a starter, then just forget about anything reasonable happening for Barca next season. Be happy if you even get into the top 4 next season. If you're going to be relying on Eric Garcia's, be happy if you're even going to get out of the Champions League group stage. I say Barca should leave Garcia. I hope Garcia has the decency to say, no, I want to stay at Girona because I want to have this Champions League, fairy tale experience with them. I hope he does that for his own development as well, for his own good. But definitely he should not be one of the first names on the team sheet for Barcelona. And well, speaking about first names on the team sheet, we can probably talk about this coming fixture against Real Sociedad and what exactly we can expect from it. It's going to be yet another Monday night fixture, which for me is honestly just like I had zero motivation already to watch Barca, looking at the fact that, they're playing like a team that doesn't even want to win football matches. But to then put them on a Monday night, that's even less motivation. I'll probably watch because, we just apparently love to punish ourselves by watching this team, even when we know what we're going to get at the end of the day. But, man, I honestly don't expect Barcelona to win this match. Sociedad have way more to play for in this game than Barca do. And I'm not just talking about pride. I mean, generally, they could actually potentially, creep into into that Europa League spot if they win this game and they win the next and Bilbao has a bad game then. So they're definitely going to be a more motivated team coming into this game than Barcelona is. And well, Barca right now, I don't think Xavi can even pick a motivated starting 11. We've seen the guys who've been making errors now in the past 2 games. Do you think Xavi is going to even consider putting them on the bench? I don't think he will. And that's where the issue is. Because if we're being honest, he should probably put Araujo on the bench. He should probably put João Cancelo on the bench. And maybe we should see a start here for Victor Fort, because he more than deserves it. So you have Victor Fort and Inigo and, Kubarsi starting for Barca in this game. And, you just trust that at least Victor Fort can maybe hold up better against Kubo than Cancelo would, because trust me, Cancelo's just going to get cooked by Takefusa Kubo for the entirety of this game if he starts. But then, that's probably what will happen. Cancelo will start. And I don't know, maybe João Felix gets a start. It would be nice to see him get a start here. It would be nice to see Felix, Ferran, and Rafinha as our front 3. Give Lewandowski a rest. But we all know Lewandowski now is trying to play just for himself and just for that, Pichichi. And so because of that, Xavi will probably be forced into playing him. And I guess that's what we're going to get in that regard. So you see just how demotivating some of this stuff is, because you already know that you're not even going to get a decent performance out of whatever team that Xavi puts out there, unless it's chock full of young players who want to play, guys like Vitor Roque who would give an arm and a leg to play even just a full 90 minutes. But we know that's something that will never happen because, we've already addressed all of that. So, yeah, like I said at the beginning of this video, if you are an optimistic, Barcelona fan, if you're the optimistic variation, this might not necessarily be an upload you're going to enjoy, but this is a facts upload, all right? I'm just going to give you facts here. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to pretend. I'm just going to tell you what exactly I think. And I think that Barcelona is going to lose on Monday night to Sociedad, and they might even lose terribly, dare I say it, because we've seen just how porous Barcelona is on the break. And with guys like Bryce Mendes, with guys like Takefusa Kubo, and probably with Oyarzabal as well playing, it's not going to end well for Barca, trust me. It's going to be a very, very tough night, especially since we know that Sociedad are a team that loves to press and to press high. So, Barcelona could be caught out very often in this game, and it shouldn't surprise any of us, to be honest. Because like I said, once again, the team doesn't really look motivated, neither does the manager, and I don't know if they even want to fight for second place, We'll see anyway come Monday night, but for now, my prediction, like I have said, is A win for Sociedad, probably a comfortable win, and fair bit of misery for Barca to kick off the upcoming week. And with that said, matter of fact, today actually I should have also been complaining about the fixture schedule that La Liga has, playing on Monday, then playing it's like on Thursday or something like that, on Wednesday. Yeah, Thursday, I think. Barca will play a game on Monday, then play on Thursday. And you wonder, like, why are they putting those games so close together? They could have just made Barca play on Friday night or, on Saturday night again. That way there's a bit more time between Saturday and Wednesday. But hey, it is what it is. La Liga fixture schedule has always been something I've had an issue with, but the season is over, so I guess whatever. And to just, wrap up on a lighter note of more depressing, maybe even disgusting news. I mean, have you seen Barcelona's third kit for next season? Honestly speaking, I don't know what Nike have been smoking or what they've been eating on their lunch breaks, but whatever they ate, it probably made them very sick, and it made them throw up on the template that they had for Barca's jersey for next season, and it's made them come up with this ghastly abomination of a nonsensical kit. And, there's just so much weird things going on here. The Nike logo being flipped the way that it is. Then, of course, that terrible color scheme that... honestly speaking, they don't need to give me more reasons to not watch Barca next season. I think I've already cycled through enough in this video, But hey, I guess it's been a nice little excuse or a nice little exercise in venting. So, I've at least gotten what I need to off of my chest. And now that I've already kind of, 8-miled myself, like what Eminem did in 8 Mile, like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Now tell me something. Tell these people something about me that they don't know. I've kind of now just I've had that, this is what Barca is going to do. They'll do this, they'll do that, they'll do that. They'll suck for the rest of the season. They'll suck against Sociedad. They won't finish in the top 2. They'll finish 3rd. Now, show me something that I'm not expecting Barca. And generally, that usually gets worse because they'll head in a direction that's even worse than I had thought would be possible. So we'll see if that'll be the case once again. Otherwise, that's basically that for me. I've spoken for long enough. Really, my throat is starting to get dry and I am starting to feel tired. And it's getting pretty late on Saturday night. It's getting pretty late on Friday night. So I thank you all for tuning in. Don't know which day you're watching this, whether it's a Saturday morning or it's a Friday, night where you are from. I don't know which time zones you're in, but wherever you're watching from, I do thank you for tuning in. Do leave a like on the video as well, and if you're new, hit subscribe. This is not usually what my content is like, I guess, maybe. Anyway, this is usually what my podcasts are like. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Do have a great day, and Forza Barca.